Today we are going to make fresh ramen. So let's get started. Take a cup of flour, and I'm using bread flour. And to this, we're going to add something called consui, basically an alkaline water. A tablespoon of this right in, kind of pulse that in. And we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. And a third cup of water. So this is where you want to be careful not to add too much water. So you want this to develop the consistency of couscous. You'll see it didn't form a ball, but you can see there's these little pellets. Scrape the wet dough from the sides. You could do this by hand, but it would take you another half hour. So reach in carefully. So see, it sticks together, but it didn't form a ball, and it doesn't stick to my hand. And that's what we want. If it forms a ball, you need to add more flour. If it won't stick together, you want to add a little bit, maybe like a half a teaspoon of water. So I'm going to let this rest a little bit while we go and prepare the broth. This is what's called the tonkatsu broth, and it's made from boiling pork bones and some beef and some chicken together. You could literally use bouillon. So some beef bouillon, some pork bouillon, some chicken bouillon, and mix that all together and put in a little bit of butter for fat. This I did boil up overnight. I'm going to start some water boiling, and over here I have some ham. I'm going to brown this. And could you use bacon? The answer is yes, you could. And I can turn my broth down. I have some napa that I've just sliced up. I've got some thinly sliced, these are called shishito peppers, a little less hot than jalapenos. I also have some scallions, green onions, and I'm going to save those as a garnish. Let's go back to our dough, which has had a chance to rest a little bit. Take maybe a handball size. This dough is very stiff. It's better to use a roller if you can. You could roll it out by hand, but it's really dry and pretty difficult. I'm forming a little cylinder that will roll out. Flip our ham right over. That's nice and browned. Put this on the widest setting, and we're actually going to use this machine to knead the dough as we roll it out. That was 0. I'm going to go right to 3. Be fast. And we'll fold that in half again. Going up to 7, thinner and thinner. And you can choose the thickness that you'd like. I'm going to make these nice and thin because I want them to cook quickly. So now I'm on the thinnest setting. We'll choose our thin noodles. Put those through. Chopstick comes in handy. We'll just put those right there. We'll add those. I made these earlier. You can let these dry a little bit or dust them with some flour, and then you can form them into a ball, or you can just kind of put them in like this. Let's do our noodles. They cook very quickly. Let me talk a little bit about another cool thing. These are salted eggs. The way we prepare these is we boil them for 10 minutes and then plunge them into cold water to stop them from cooking. And then we peel it, and we cut them in half, and the inside of the yolk should be soft. The sauce that we're salting these in is soy sauce and wine. Our water is boiling. Put these right in. Give those a little stir. In ramen, there's something called tare. It's basically a sauce that's used to add a little extra flavor. We're going to use just a pre-made sauce. We're going to add some sesame oil as well as a flavoring. You don't want to overcook. So we're going to, our broth is simmering. Pour in our broth right over these ingredients that are already there. And let's add our meat, egg. See how the center is kind of soft? Grab some scallions. A teaspoon, drizzle that in. Just a little bit of sesame oil. There you have it. We've got some ramen. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.